You ever get that feeling, even if you can't quite put your finger on it, that everything's connected somehow?
Yeah, or maybe you notice how life just seems to have these natural rhythms, ups and downs, kind of like the seasons changing.
Exactly. That sense of connection, those cycles, that's kind of what we're digging into today.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Today we're exploring some really interesting ideas from a spiritual tradition called Won Buddhism. It started in Korea, about 100 years back.
And it has some, I think, surprisingly fresh ways of looking at how the universe works and maybe how we fit into it all.
Right. And the absolute core of Won Buddhism is this concept called Il-won-sang.
Il-won-sang, okay.
So let's think about it like this. You know how your phone has an operating system, like iOS or Android?
Uh-huh.
It's that basic thing that makes all the apps work together, right?
Hmm.
Well, Il-won-sang is kind of like the operating system for the universe.
The fundamental principle that makes everything tick, basically, from your day-to-day stuff to the whole cosmos.
It's seen as the essential nature of reality itself.
And the teachings we're really focusing on today, they're called the Dharma words and the Gatha, both related to Il-won-sang, are all about understanding this core truth and figuring out how to live, in harmony with it.
So our goal for this deep dive is to get a clear handle on these two key teachings. Maybe find some surprising relevance in them, no matter what your background or beliefs are.
Sounds like a plan. We'll start with the Il-won-sang Dharma words, look at the main ideas, why they matter. Then we'll tackle the Il-won-sang Gatha, get into its deeper meaning.
And then wrap up thinking about how this stuff might actually show up or be useful in your own life.
Okay, let's do it. The Il-won-sang Dharma words first. These come from Won Buddhism's main text, the Zhongzhan.
Right, and they're basically guidelines, for understanding and living according to this Il-won-sang idea.
Exactly. They give you a kind of framework, a lens to see the world through.
And the first part focuses on understanding the truth of Il-won-sang. And one thing that jumps out is this interconnectedness idea. It says something like, the 10 directions and 3 worlds are all the possessions of my house.
And all things in the universe, though named differently, are not separate. Yeah, it's a big thought.
It really is. Kind of mind-bending. How do we wrap our heads around that?
Well, you could try thinking of the whole universe as like one massive interconnected Wi-Fi network.
Okay.
We might seem like separate devices logged on, doing our own thing, but fundamentally, we're all part of that same single web.
Or like everything in your home using the same electricity. The lamp, the fridge, charging your phone, different functions, same source.
That works too, yeah. It's about seeing that underlying unity. And then there's the cyclical nature of things. The Dharma words say, the cycle of birth, aging, sickness, and death is like the seasons.
Spring, summer, autumn, and winter.
Yeah.
That feels very relatable, doesn't it?
It does.
It's a reminder that change is just natural, expected even. Like leaves falling, new buds appearing. Maybe accepting that helps us handle the rough patches a bit better.
I think so. It suggests a natural rhythm to life's challenges and joys. And then the Dharma words link this to cause and effect, and also yin and yang.
Right. The text says, the law of cause and effect corresponds to the mutual overcoming of yin and yang. Okay, let's break that down.
Cause and effect is pretty intuitive, right? Actions have results.
Yeah, like if you're kind to a friend, the friendship usually gets stronger. Simple enough.
What you put out tends to influence what comes back. And then this mutual overcoming of yin and yang.
Yin and yang. Like light and dark, good and bad, those kinds of opposites.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the key is mutual overcoming. They aren't just fighting. They actually interact, balance each other, create the whole picture. Think day and night.
You need both for a full day cycle. They define each other, in a way.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So the Dharma words are saying that the results of our actions, the cause and effect, they operate within these natural balancing cycles, like yin and yang.
Ah, okay. So understanding this connection through Il-won-sang nudges us towards making better choices, knowing our actions ripple out into this interconnected cyclical system.
That's definitely a core message. Now, the second part shifts to applying Il-won-sang to our lives. And there's this very noticeable repeating phrase.
Oh, yeah. This circle is used when using the eyes, perfectly complete and impartially selfless. The circle is used when using the ears. And it goes through all the senses, right? Eyes, ears, nose, mouth, body, mind.
Right. And that description, perfectly complete and impartially selfless. What does that strike you as meaning?
Perfectly complete, like whole, lacking nothing, and impartially selfless.
Yeah.
Fair, unbiased, not driven by selfish motives. It sounds like Il-won-sang itself is being presented as this ideal state.
Yes. And why repeat it for every single sense, do you think?
Well, it really hammers the point home, doesn't it? Like a chorus in a song you can't get out of your head. Repetition makes you remember.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It emphasizes that Ilwansang's qualities, that wholeness, that fairness, aren't just ideas to ponder. They're meant to be active, like right now as you're seeing, as you're hearing.
So it's about doing it, not just knowing it, bringing that quality into every interaction.
Exactly. The source gives examples like, if you hear something upsetting, you try to respond with compassion, with fairness, that's applying Ilwansang through your ears.
Or if you feel angry, you try to remember your mind's original clarity, its balance, applying it through the mind.
Right. It makes it very practical, very grounded in everyday moments.
Which leads to that really interesting suggestion from the source material, the K-pop hook idea.
Ah, yes. To make that repeating phrase even catchier, especially maybe for younger people. Suggesting something like, when I see with my eyes, a pure and true heart.
When I hear with my ears, a pure and true heart. And so on for all the senses.
It's a really creative way to sort of bridge this ancient wisdom with something very current. Like you said about the song chorus, make it stick.
A spiritual earworm, reminding you throughout the day, act with fairness, act with clarity.
And the source suggested this approach really fits with the intention of Won Buddhism's founder, Master Soto-san. He wanted these teachings to feel accessible, practical for absolutely everyone.
Not locked away in some monastery, but usable right here, right now.
That spirit of accessibility is key.
Okay, so that's the Dharma words, understanding the big picture of Ilwansang and then applying it moment by moment through our senses. Now, what about the Ilwansang Gatha? You said it's different.
Yeah, a Gatha is typically a short verse or poem that captures a deep teaching or a moment of awakening, in this case related to Ilwansang.
And traditionally, these were maybe shared more privately.
Often, yes. In many Buddhist traditions, teachers might share specific Gathas with close disciples as a way to transmit a really profound insight, like verses in the Dhammapada, for instance. But Master Soto-san did something pretty unique with the Ilwansang Gatha. He shared it openly with everyone.
Why?
It emphasizes a core Won Buddhist belief that this fundamental truth, Ilwansang, isn't exclusive, it's universal. It's available to anyone who seeks it.
Back to that operating system for everyone idea. So what does this Gatha actually say?
Okay, it goes, being turns into non-being, non-being turns into being, turning and turning until reaching the ultimate.
Okay.
Being and non-being both become empty,
Empty.
yet emptiness is also complete.
Wow, okay. That packs a punch. Let's try to unpack that a bit. Being turns into non-being. Non-being turns into being. What's that getting at?
Think about things that exist, being, and things that at a certain moment don't exist, non-being. The line highlights constant change, constant transformation. The source used the day-night cycle example.
Right. Light being turns into darkness, non-being, and then darkness turns back into light. It's a flow.
Exactly. Things arise, things pass away continuously. Then turning and turning until reaching the ultimate.
So this constant changing isn't just chaotic. It leads somewhere. Towards some deeper understanding.
That's the implication, that through observing and understanding this constant flux, you move towards an ultimate realization or awakening.
Okay. And then being and non-being both become empty. This is where it gets tricky. Empty.
It does sound strange at first.
Yeah.
How can something be both existence and non-existence and then empty?
Yeah.
The idea here is to see beyond them as just two separate boxes.
Yeah.
It points to a deeper level of reality, an awakened perspective where those distinctions dissolve. Remember the day-night becoming a day.
Ah, right. Not just two opposites, but facets of one single thing, a deeper unity.
Exactly. And the final line is crucial. Yet emptiness is also complete.
So empty doesn't mean nothing, like a vacuum.
No, not in this context. It's not lack. It's more like potential. Think of a completely blank sheet of paper.
Okay.
It's empty of any specific drawing, all right? But it holds the potential for any drawing. It's complete in its possibility.
Ah, I see. So emptiness here is like boundless potentiality, the source from which everything arises.
You got it. So putting the whole Gatha together, it suggests Ilwansang is that fundamental reality behind everything. All the coming and going, being and non-being, ultimately resolve back into this unified source.
A source that has no fixed form itself. It's empty in that sense, but contains all possibilities, making it complete.
Precisely. It's the ultimate ground of being, underpinning all the phenomena we experience.
Okay. Wow, we've covered some deep territory here.
We have.
So, just to recap the main takeaways, the Ilwansang Dharma words are like the practical manual recognize the interconnectedness and cycles, and then apply that understanding, that pure and true heart, moment by moment through your senses.
Right. And the Ilwan Gatha offers that more profound philosophical snapshot of the ultimate nature of reality itself, this unity that's beyond opposites, both empty of fixed form and yet totally complete in potential.
And for a practical handle, maybe keep that catchy hook idea in mind. When I see with my eyes a pure and true heart.
Or simply practice small acts of kindness, thoughtfulness. Those embody the spirit of Ilwan Sang, recognizing connection, acting with fairness. It bridges the gap between the big ideas and just, living your life.
Definitely. So maybe here's a final thought for you to mull over. If everything really is connected in the way the Dharma words suggest, how might that change how you see yourself, how you see the world, the people around you?
And considering the Gatha's idea of emptiness being complete potential, what might open up for you if you could let go of some rigid ideas or expectations about how things have to be? What possibilities might emerge?
Some really interesting questions to sit with. If any of this sparked something for you, definitely feel free to explore Won Buddhism further. There's a lot more there.
Absolutely. Thanks for diving in with us today.
Yeah, thanks for taking this deep dive.